When building a new software project, you should always come up with two things: a software architecture and a sequence diagram or user flow diagram. The software architecture basically shows you which software components are needed and how they interact with each other in order to let you achieve what you want to achieve. So if you're building some kind of e-commerce platform, you might need a front end, you will need a back end most likely, you will need payment providers and these kind of things, and these interact with each other. So from a technical perspective, that already gives you some kind of alignment across your development team, your design team, the client, the founder itself, or the CEO if it's within your company, and so on and so forth, right? So the software architecture builds a lot of high-level alignment, and already, once you did this, you will quickly see that it will shift around a lot until everyone agrees on a good state, right? A good V1 or a future packaging of how the software should be built. And once you got that, you can start with the sequence diagrams or user flow diagrams, which are nothing else than going a few levels deeper and actually looking at it not from a technical perspective, but from a user perspective. This is really interesting for two reasons. It allows you to simplify processes, both from a design perspective and from a technical perspective, because once you do these, you will very quickly see a couple of issues in your original concept of thought model, because maybe it's not easily technically implementable, as it can't be solved in a technical manner that the way you imagined to be. Or on the design front, maybe it's overloaded, or it's just not intuitive, or it's not best practice, or whatever. So that's where sequence or user flow diagrams are really helpful. They build even deeper alignment. And once you got these things like a mock-up and actually building the software project and scoping it for a fixed price, like pricing itself, if it's an external software provider like ourselves, for example, all these things become much, much easier. So what you see here on my screen, for example, is one of these concepts. It's a really simple one. And if you look into it, you will see here a web application, basically a front end. You will see here a node, something around cookies. I think we all know them. It's basically for tracking users in some sense. Then there's a D app, that's something crypto specific where you can buy and sell some stuff. And we also got some blockchain stuff and backend itself, especially because here in that case we interact with external payment providers and so on and so forth. And as you can see, there are a lot of nodes and flows, and it's all very, very simple. So there's no over engineering in that sense. It's really all just for alignment of all parties. So that's the goal here. It really simplifies the project in a lot of ways. It removes a lot of information silos as well, because everyone has a rough idea of how things are being built and what will be built in the first version, what might be built later on, what's important, what's not that important. So it has really tons of advantages. And if you're not doing it right now, please do so. If you're working with a software agency, ask them to go a little bit more into depth, because a lot of them usually stick to a more high-level perspective and sell that as agile. So that really helps. And of course, these things, these diagrams will change and they evolve. So that's really not about planning per se. It's really about alignment of